Jesus Christ, the uncreated God, deserving of worship. The argument for the deity of Jesus Christ is not just compelling, it is overwhelming. The scriptures, from Genesis to Revelation, consistently affirm that Jesus is not a created being, but the eternal, uncreated God. If skeptics and non-believers still question this truth, let's build the case even further, connecting the irrefutable dots between the exclusivity of worship to God and the undeniable worship of Jesus. The jealous God, worship reserved for God alone. The foundation of biblical theology is that worship is for God alone. Exodus 34:14 declares, "For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." This exclusivity is echoed throughout the Bible. Isaiah 45:5 says, "I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me." Now imagine this scenario. If Jesus were not God but accepted worship, he would be violating the very commandments he upheld. Hebrews chapter 1:6, a command to worship. Jesus. Consider Hebrews chapter 1:6, where the Father commands, "Let all the angels of God worship him." This is no trivial statement. Angels who serve in God's holy presence are instructed to worship Jesus. In the Bible, angels are rebuked when they allow humans to worship them. Revelation 22:8-9. But here they bow to Jesus. Why? Because Jesus is not merely a messenger of God. He is God himself. Skeptics must confront this reality. If Jesus were a created being, the worship of him by angels would be a direct violation of Exodus 34:14. God cannot contradict his own commandments. The only logical conclusion is that Jesus shares in the divine nature of God, making him worthy of worship. Jesus' identity as creator. The Bible attributes creation, a divine act, to Jesus. John 1:3 states, "All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made." Colossians 1:16 reaffirms this, saying, "For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible." If Jesus created all things, he cannot be a part of creation. The phrase "all things" excludes nothing, placing Jesus outside the category of created beings. This is further evidence that Jesus is uncreated and eternal, sharing in the identity and power of God. The worship of Jesus in Revelation. Revelation offers a dramatic and undeniable portrayal of Jesus' deity. In Revelation 5:13-14 we read, "And every creature which is in heaven, and on the earth, and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honour, and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb for ever and ever." Here, Jesus, the Lamb, is worshipped alongside the Father by every creature in existence. This universal worship is not a mistake or an exaggeration. It is a declaration of Jesus' equality with the Father. Revelation 22:3 further confirms this. "The throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him." Notice the singular throne, signifying the unity of God and the Lamb. The testimony of Jesus himself. Jesus made bold claims about his identity that left no room for ambiguity. In John 8:58 he declares, "Before Abraham was, I am." This statement, echoing God's self-revelation in Exodus 3:14, directly ties Jesus to the eternal I am. The Jewish leaders understood the implications and attempted to stone him for blasphemy. John 8:59. In John 10:30 Jesus says, "I and my Father are one." The Greek word used here for one, hen, signifies unity of essence, not just agreement. The Jews again sought to stone him because they understood he was claiming equality with God. John chapter 10:33. The challenge to skeptics. To skeptics who deny Christ's deity, here are questions to consider. If God alone is to be worshipped, why does he command angels to worship Jesus? Hebrews chapter 1:6. If Jesus were not God, why does the Father explicitly call him God in Hebrews 1:8? If Jesus created all things, John 1:3, Colossians 1:16, how could he himself be created? If worshipping anyone other than God is idolatry, why does all creation worship Jesus in Revelation 5:13-14? A final word. The weight of evidence. The consistent testimony of Scripture is clear. Jesus Christ is God, uncreated, eternal, and worthy of worship. Denying his deity is not a matter of misinterpretation. It is a refusal to accept the truth revealed by God himself. Jesus stands as the ultimate fulfillment of God's plan, and his identity as God is woven into every page of the Bible. Skeptics, will you continue to deny what the Bible plainly declares? Or will you humble yourself before the one who is worshipped in heaven and earth? For it is written, "As I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God." Romans 14:11. Will you bow now in faith, or later in judgment? The choice is yours.